I like how in the commercial break they say taking back America one liberal at a time, because that's not how I feel. I feel like we're taking it back one American at a time. People have been so completely inundated with, you have to pick a side. Are you in the Republican gang or the Democratic gang? And trust me, Ron Paul knows best. If you think there's more than a two-party system, ask him about how the convention works. Because they showed you have a two-party system. Period. And they talk about freedom and things like they exist. Turned them into cliches. Meaningless rhetoric from soulless, spineless, evil cretins. I heard on the commercial there too that if we go into Sassy Chick's new and rustic trading post and tell them that we heard about them from Right Side Media, we get a free gift. I did not know that, and I want to know what the free gift is now. I'm gonna have to get my butt up there, and I won't even tell them who I am. I'll just say, hey, I heard about you guys on Right Side, and see what they say. I got some questions I want to address today. I got a couple more videos that I was checking out last night, and if you guys didn't catch the show yesterday, I actually lit a fire under quite a few people that weren't aware of the executive orders that I had listed and the implications therein. And they just couldn't believe it, and of course, I'm telling everybody, look it up. You have to look this stuff up for yourself. If you believe some disembodied voice on the other end of a technological device, then go make pancakes and leave the rest of us alone. You've got no business believing me. None. But that's what they did. They looked it up, and I have no idea how many chat windows I had going from Google, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. I bet you I was in 22 different conversations simultaneously. Trying anyway. I wasn't doing very well. Let me apologize to all those people I was trying to talk to, by the way. I'm trying to answer everybody and all this. And there's a guy that he was kicked out of the militia here in Columbus. And these guys are really accepting. And you really have to make some mistakes or just be a doof to get kicked out. And finally they were like, look, dude, you gotta go. This is not a working relationship. So he goes, and he knows that Unite Ohio works with the militia, and they're probably, between them and Anonymous, those are our biggest supporters and allies for sure. And I think 3% probably does more than anybody. They got 18 turkeys, or like half a pallet of turkeys out to people the day before or 2 days before Thanksgiving. They just never stop. They're always doing stuff in the community. You know what I mean? They got the food pantry, and they're, it never stops. It never stops. So, this guy, he's just a bit immature is all, and he needs to grow, and I don't think he's a bad guy. He said some really horrible, nasty things on the Unite Ohio page and on the Google link, and then I'm telling him, dude, you're a troll. You don't know what a troll is. What's funny is these kids don't know where the term even freaking comes from. My uncle and I years ago were making a joke about those snakehead fish that made it into Lake Erie from the boats from China, and how they're taking over all the waterways. But since the snakehead fish can walk on land too, we were talking about trolling them out of the ponds while we were in a tractor. And if we found out that snakehead fish really liked hot dogs, we would just tie 1,000 hot dogs to the back of a tractor and then slowly drive around the pond until we had all the fish trolling us, and then we would put them in nets. But that's what trolling is you follow, And this guy has made numerous freaking posts on the Unite Ohio Facebook page, on the YouTube links, on the Google links, on all of this, and just seriously followed us around and trolled us. So I told him he's a troll. He's like, you don't know what that means. You know, when you're up against ignorance at that kind of a level, the only thing you can do is continue to invite these people to become something better. You know, they run, and this will be my reply to him later. He runs off at the mouth. So, and I've already said this a couple of times, and things to this effect. But this is what I invite anybody to say: if you're trying to make a difference, you're going to run into people that are complete jackasses, and that's okay. We fight for them too. You know, these are unfortunately some of our countrymen and women. One way to wake them up without exposing their blatant ignorance, because that's not going to work anyway. They don't care, and they're ignorant, so they're not really going to listen to that kind of admonishment. So the way that I like to handle it is to, first of all, thank them for being the example of what it is I have told everyone about. You know, when I say, if you see any success at all, you will get haters. That's what I'm talking about, you know? It's these guys. It's the ones that go to a unity page, a unite page, and pick fights with people. I mean, everybody knows what you're doing. Everybody sees right through that, you know? You got to grow up a little bit, and right now you're not ready for unity, buddy. That's all that it is. It's not a personal attack. You know, you're just a little bit immature, and right now, this isn't for you. My best advice is for you to stand on the outside and look in. Watch us, study us. You know, and if you want to come out to these events, then by all means, do. Come out, pass out flags, pass out food, hold a sign, you know, do whatever it is we're doing, you know. Take part in it. And then you'll see what we're talking about when we say you have to do more than just complain. You know, all of your complaining and saying, oh, you're not one guy. Somebody else, and this is the type of stuff that you'll run into. This is the type of scrutiny that you'll face if you see success. One of the signs of success for, say, a celebrity is you made it into the tabloids and you've been badmouthed. Congratulations, that's how you know you're really famous. Well, if you start a community action group and you have to kick somebody out of any of the groups that we work under, and they're not mature enough to understand the decision, and they're not mature enough to get what it is, you know, the big picture of what it is that we're trying to do, then of course they're going to come back like a child, you know, and it seemed like we got attacked. Unite Ohio had never been attacked before. And then all of a sudden it was like somebody tried to find some kind of opening, and boom, there was 7 people nobody had ever heard from talking about Unite Ohio's, you know, this, that, and the other, and saying bad things. Well, I told him, I said, I'm not going to delete your comments. I want everybody to read this. I want everybody to see this. I may even take screenshots and put them back up and pin them to the top of the page so that everybody can see this. It's important that we do not delete that record. It's important that we show everybody that expression. It serves so many purposes. If you are too weak to stand under the scrutiny, then do not choose any type of community action. You're going to fold, you're going to buckle, and you're going to make the rest of us look bad. We don't need you. If at any time you think that you can handle the scrutiny, then please, by all means, come join us. Stand shoulder to shoulder with us, because you're going to face it. It's going to be there. I think one guy said that we were fascist, and yeah, I was really tempted to send him the definition of fascism. But instead of doing that and being condescending, I'm just going to invite these guys to our events. You know? If you think that we are this, if you think that we are something else, then come out and see for yourself what you believe we are. What you believe. Hold on a second. Hey, will you get a hold of Tyler and tell him that I'm just going to need an extended break? Yeah. Tyler, Keith, I'm going to need an extended break. I have to call 10TV back and give them my official response to the superintendent. And then I'll get right back online, but we won't do that for another 20 minutes. I'm going to have Chris contact you. So yeah, they say Unite Ohio is fascist. Or the one guy did. He said, like, something about... it was pretty ridiculous. So, all of the naysayers are invited to come out. We'll be... I think one of the places we're going to go to for the Operation Feed the Homeless is the Greyhound bus station. And listen, I invite everybody. Say it's just you and your husband, right? Or you and your wife. And, you bring it up to your spouse. Hey, let's just one time go get some takeout and then go to the bus station and find somebody there. See, here's the thing. People don't think about this, right? There are always hungry humans at bus stations. That is the poorest form of traveling that you'll ever have to endure. You're on a bus because you can't afford anything else. You're on a bus because you can't afford a car. You're on a bus because you can't afford a plane. You're on a bus because you're poor. That's why you take the bus. There are hungry people at every bus station in the nation. You want to go help some people, folks? Go to the bus station. Go to the Greyhound bus station. You will find a hungry human. So why don't you guys come with us? All of the naysayers. Why don't you guys say, oh, you're fascist. And then, because I'm not going to begrudge you your ridiculous opinion. You're in America, Jack. You can have whatever ridiculous opinion you want. I have ridiculous opinions. You're allowed to have them too. But why don't you just come out and help? You can sit there and say whatever you want. I'm not going to tell you can't. You absolutely can. You have that right. But just, shut your mouth for a minute, come out and hand some sandwiches out with us. And then you are completely entitled to go back home and complain. You can do that. You can say, oh, well, Unite Ohio sucks. Or you can say whatever you want, as long as you help. We're beyond caring about the folks that have bought into the division and what they might say. We do care about those folks, obviously, because we fight for them. But when it comes to their distracted opinions, we're just going to give them the dignity of their own choices. You're allowed to say whatever you want. You're going to continue to see us working in the community. You're going to continue to hear about us. And then you have the choice. You can continue to sit there and complain and look like an ass, or you can join us. You always have that invitation. If we're doing the, what is that? The cleaning up the litter, but I can't remember the name of it. It's like, I can't remember the name. I apologize, Zach, but he's one of the XOs in the militia, 3% of regulars, and it's his baby, and I can't remember the name of it. But if we're gonna go pick up trash, if we're gonna go feed people, if we're doing a rally, if we're doing a march, if we're doing a protest, if we're gonna have a public screening, I've been talking about everybody that's in, and let you guys tell me what you think about this. Here's an idea. I say everybody who's in a protest, rally, organization, militia, anonymous, sovereign citizens, Second Amendment people, I don't care who you are, honestly. The bikers, the Ohio Patriot bikers, they're getting ready to escort the body of the fallen soldier here in Ohio, too. Thank you guys for that. Really appreciate what you guys do. And BACA, Bikers Against Child Abuse, man, you guys are freaking excellent. Thank you so much. But everybody, we get everybody together, right? Let me just say this. When you see all of those groups come together, that's pretty powerful. Because it tells you that Americans care about America and Americans. They care about coming together and affecting real change. And I don't know what you're doing in your state, but in Ohio, we are changing the game. We are making very real changes, and we've been able to do this and see incredible success in a very short period of time. This tells me that if you listen to our methodology, I don't care where you are, you can implement the exact same strategy, and we want you to. Unfortunately, there are people that want to charge. I'm not making this up. There are people that want to charge you for this service. I swear to God that I'm not kidding. I'm not going to name the names. You know, they wanted to know our methodology, and now they're holding conferences to teach people the methodology. I'm not going to tell you to not go to that conference. If you have that kind of money and you can do that, I would tell you to seek knowledge anywhere that you can find it. Okay? But we're not going to charge you a dime to tell you the exact same things, or I don't know, maybe they're telling you something different. I can't tell you, but I can tell you that what we're doing works. It has worked in Central Ohio. We have notoriety. We have an amazing amount of media connections and networking ability. And this is all, I mean, we're all just moms and dads, seriously, who got sick and tired of being told that we can't affect real change. And you know what? We're not going to lay down anymore. You know, we'll take responsibility for our community. Thank you very much. We'll change it. It doesn't belong to anybody else anyway, and no one else is coming to do it. It is your responsibility. Because no one's coming to save you. What are you waiting on? Who is going to make your world better? Is it your ruling class? Huh? You can rely on government now? Yeah? You don't think that relying on government has got us in the position that we are in? Because I'm here to tell you, this reliance on government is equivalent to drinking a cup of poison and then waiting for your cancer to go away. So, got a lot of events going on. You know what? I just had a thought. Maybe I could call Nathan Baca from 10 TV while live on the air. I have to see what my station manager thinks of that. I have to see what other people think of that. But maybe I could just call him live on the air here and talk to him, and we'll let everybody hear the... Well, I don't know. Maybe not. That's something I should have probably set up beforehand. I don't want to bum rush anybody, so I won't do that. I had briefly referenced some of the films that I had watched last night or yesterday. Freedom to Fascism is a great docu-film by Aaron Russo, and one of the ones that's my favorite one to say is supposed to be Zeitgeist, but I like to call it Zeitgeist because it's more exciting that way. And when you watch that movie, get back with me if that's your first time watching it and let me know what you think. Those are two really interesting films. And then last night, I went through Terror Storm, like terrorist, Terror Storm. And I'm not a big fan of Alex Jones. I'm really not. I think William Cooper said it best. He's an alarmist, and he uses a bunch of hyperbole. He tries to get people excited. Why don't you just tell us what's going on? We don't need all of your drama and emotion. Just tell us what's going on. If you have this kind of reach and you have this kind of information capability, the last thing we need is you pandering to the fear-mongering that our ruling class has already been subjecting us to. Terror, terrorists, terror activity, weapons of mass destruction. I mean, we've just been with all of this. So how about you don't do that anymore and you don't buy into that? That'd be great. Thanks. And that's kind of my personal opinion. But the film Terror Storm does have a lot of worth. That is for anybody who thinks a bunch of cave dwellers on the other side of the planet were capable of taking down our towers the way the official conspiracy theory reports. And the official conspiracy theory is no more than that. I mean, it's a really weird, story to try and believe. In the film, they talk about they outline 5 documented cases of false flag operations historically. In 1933, Hitler storms to power. Raise your hand if you know how he did that, and you know where I'm going with this. What was the false flag? Down, 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 down. The Reichstag fires. He burnt down a beautiful building. It was the German Parliament building at the time. It was gorgeous. So it was a wonderful landmark in Germany. Burned it down. They dressed a Polish mentally handicapped guy, or a guy that was mentally handicapped in a Polish uniform, and said the Polish Jews are attacking. So there's one. The Operation Ajax, 1953, the CIA coup in Iran. And that had implications into 1979, which 1979 changed the world forever. Gulf of Tonkin pretext, 1964. I can sit here and tell you about all of these things. I really want you to look it up for yourself and be surprised. There's a lot. There's a virtue in that. There's a value in that. 1967, USS Liberty attacked. The USS Liberty was the most highly decorated warship the U.S. had at the time. You will not believe the reports from that. It'll break your heart. That one story right there is enough to crush the heart of anybody who even just fondly cares for America, let alone likes or loves. USS Liberty had our own ship bombed. And it didn't go on for 15 minutes. This went on for hours and hours and hours. There was Israeli soldiers who were facing their own form of court-martial because they would not shoot on our ship. They said, that's a flagged American ship. I'm not doing it. We had support ships that could have come in and helped, and they were told to stand down while our guys were getting the crap knocked out of them for hours and hours and hours. Our own general said, I want that ship in the bottom of the ocean. Our own top brass. Can you imagine that? The USS Liberty did not sink. Most everyone were killed on there. We lost way too many people. Like I said, 1967, USS Liberty. Look that up. And then finally they outline 1946 through 1983, NATO's Stay Behind Armies, Operation Gladio. And Gladio is spelled Gladio, Operation Gladio. It's a pretty good film to go through, And, of course, check it out, go through it, come back, tell me what you think. The information on 9/11 that's in here that, and these are all officials. Everyone's speaking in official capacity. So it's kind of hard to deny. And these are people in positions we should all listen to, These are people that are in the know. They know that they know that they know. And, I hope that you guys get a chance to check that out because it's important to understand the nature of false flags and what purpose they have served. I don't know if you guys know this, but right after the Reichstag fires in Germany, Hitler executed orders that gave him incredible powers over the German people. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Does that sound familiar to anybody? Like 9/11 and then the Patriot Act? Just throwing it out there. Just for consideration purposes only. Does anybody care that on 7/7, when Madrid, Spain was bombed, on 9/11 when we were bombed, when London happened, I think 7/7 in London as well, or maybe I have those confused, but did you guys know, I mean, everybody's pretty well aware that they were doing terrorist drills here in the U.S. at the time. You know, exactly the same kind of drills for what actually happened. Same thing at the Sandy Hook school shooting. Said they were doing a drill there locally for a school shooting. Same thing in London when the subway was bombed, or the bus. Well, the London bombings and Spain, Madrid, they were doing drills. Did you guys know that? Look it up. I know it sounds crazy. Like, oh, whatever. But if you have people doing drills in that area for specifically what happens, then you have your own police bombing you. You have your own ruling class bombing you. Think about that. That's the implication. That's why you need to look into it. Is it some nut job conspiracy theory, or is there some validation, some credibility, ways to substantiate the claim? And I'm not here to tell you that there is. I'm here to tell you that this is something you need to look into for yourself. Terror Storm. You could probably find it on Prison Planet. You can probably find it at InfoWars. I found it on YouTube. I want to talk about a couple of things. We're going to do a little break here in a couple of minutes. I'm going to call Channel 10, give them our official statement, and then I'll get back with you guys. But here's some things I want people to consider. We need to be really careful during this revolution because our ruling class has brought our enemies on our soil. And they'll do everything they can to coerce, subvert, and capitalize on any instability that is created. That's why my call for revolution has been different. I say we're not going to burn down buildings. We want our police to lay down their shields in solidarity so that we can go into the buildings, remove these people with our constitutional sheriffs, put them in jail, replace the ruling class with normal people. We don't need a bunch of disorder. I want people to consider this. Electing a man by the name of Barak is an old Hebrew name. It's actually a very powerful Hebrew name. Hussein, which was the name of one of the enemies we were, trying to kill and attacking in Sodom. Obama, which is really close to Osama. And when you put Hussein in front of it, dude sounds like a terrorist, right? We elected him as president. Doesn't that show open-mindedness on behalf of the American people? Didn't we in some way express our heart there if there is legitimacy to the elections? I want you guys to consider that while we go on break. I appreciate you supporting Right Side Media today and the Diametric Opposition show. By doing so, you are supporting a small business. Right Side Media Network does not take corporate sponsors. That's pretty freaking cool if you ask me. I like that. We have another small business working with us as well. The Sassy Chicks. You guys may hear the commercial here in a minute. Sassy Chicks New and Rustic Trading Post. Give them a call at 440-986-7277. 440-986-7277. And I guess if you walk in the door and tell them that you heard about them through Right Side Media, they have a free gift for you. So I'm going to try to get my butt there because I don't know what they're giving out, and I want one. Of whatever they are. I don't care if they're kazoos. I want one. So I'm just like that. I have to have random things, I dig that kind of stuff. All right, guys. I'll give our press release out to Channel 10, and we will be back here shortly. I appreciate you guys. Go grab a drink, shake the dew off your lily if you must, and I will see you in a moment.